The best thing that has ever happened to Jewish people was the formation of Israel. Jews at last had a sacred sanctuary, a refuge, and above all, a place to call home. The formation of Israel gave Jews a chance to live amidst their endless struggle of survival. But that luxury wasn't as easy to afford. As we know, the price of freedom is steep. And who could better understand that cost than Indians? Counting on that mutual sentiment for freedom, Albert Einstein wrote a letter on 13 June 1947 to then PM Jawaharlal Nehru. The letter starts with a praise for abolishment of untouchability by the Constituent Assembly. Einstein also admires Nehru and Gandhi for playing a part in India's freedom struggle. But the main focus was to convince Nehru to support Zionist effort to create a Jewish homeland in Palestine. Note here, a man of science tried his best to appeal to Nehru's ethics and morals. The letter was nothing but a plea from one of the greatest minds for one of the greatest cause. I should like to discuss only one problem with you: the ethical issues involved in the Zionist effort to recreate a Jewish homeland in Palestine. The Jewish survivors demand the right to dwell amid brothers on the soil of their fathers. Can Jewish need, no matter how acute, be met without the infringement of vital rights of others? My answer is in the affirmative. Here is an interesting fact for my viewers. The Balfour Declaration 1947 promised Jewish people a land of their own, but majority population in that region was native Arabs. And Albert Einstein was mindful of that. While speaking for the creation of Jewish state on moral and ethical grounds, he still acknowledges the concerns of local Arabs. Knowing that Jewish people face discrimination and persecution by Arabs, Albert Einstein still considered their demand for prosperity and equality in the region. However, he mentions it as the soil of their fathers. He was adamant for the creation of a Jewish state. To this, Nehru replied as politically as he could. He did acknowledge the need of a Jewish homeland, but there is always a but. Nehru's response: I need to assure you, therefore, of our deepest sympathy for the Jews and for all they have undergone during the past years. If we can help them in any way, I hope and trust that India will not stand by and look on. As you know, national policies are unfortunately, essentially, selfish policies. Each country thinks of its own interests first and then of other interests. If it so happens that some international policy fits in with the national policy of the country, then the nation uses brave language about international betterment. But as soon as that international policy seems to run counter to the national interests or selfishness, then a host of reasons are found not to follow that international policy. That was a part of Nehru's response. And for you all, let me define selfishness here. All international relations and policies are based on profits. Nehru was aware of the Jewish cause, but he was worried about Palestine too. He inclined more towards the binational Arab-Jewish Palestine. On 29 November 1947, the United States General Assembly voted on the modified UN partition plan of Palestine. 33 nations voted in the favor of creation of Israel, and 13 voted against it. There were 10 abstentions and 1 absent. And it is well known that India voted against the partition plan of Palestine, and the reasons could be more than what Nehru mentioned in his letter. India had a significant number of Muslims even at that time, and those Muslims sided with the Arabs. Being the Muslim appeaser he was, Jawaharlal Nehru did not want to anger the Muslims at home, and thus he thought of playing it safe. And if he wanted to play the neutral party, India could have abstained from voting. But no, he voted against the creation of Israel. But some sources state that there were more compelling reasons. Nehru complained that the Zionists attempted to buy Indian vote with money, and even his sister, Vijay Lakshmi Pandit, received the threats. She was the Indian ambassador to the UN, #nepotism. Albert Einstein understood Nehru's reasons well, and so there was hardly any sense of bitterness between the two. They both shared a series of letters later on, and in one of those letters, Einstein even praised the books written by Jawaharlal Nehru. On his trip to the US, Nehru met Einstein on November 5, 1949. It is quite evident that Nehru was greatly influenced by Albert Einstein. At last, India officially recognized the State of Israel on 17 September 1950. But still, the Congress did not care to establish diplomatic ties with Israel. So that's all for today. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.